The backrooms aren't a myth. They're a labyrinth beneath reality, built from every forgotten hallway, empty office, and memory you were never supposed to see. The smell of damp carpet, flickering of dying lights, and that endless hum means you've gone way too far. In this guide, we'll show you how to survive, or at least delay what's coming. From the rules of the yellow halls to the entities that stalk them, every second counts once you've no-clipped out of the world you once knew. Don't trust what you hear, don't follow the voices, and whatever you do, never stop moving. Because if you hear something wandering around nearby, it sure as hell has heard you. What is the Backrooms? A space that exists somewhere between reality and memory, formed from excess data of our world. Think of every hallway that leads nowhere, every flickering light in an empty office, every building that feels wrong. When enough of those spaces pile up, they create a pocket of existence that shouldn't be, an infinite maze stitched together from leftovers of reality itself. That's the Backrooms. Most people will never see it, but those who do usually fall into it. You don't find the backrooms, you slip into them. A glitch, a misstep, a single moment when laws of physics lose track of you. Some call it no-clipping, a term borrowed from video games. It happens when reality misfires, when your body passes through solid matter, or when you fall through a surface that should have stopped you. The next thing you know, you're standing on that damp yellow carpet, surrounded by endless buzzing lights, and the air smells faintly of mold and static. But the truth is, not everyone gets there the same way. Some vanish while walking down empty hallways at work late at night, others fall asleep in a train station or mall, only to wake up at level 0, the first known layer of the backrooms. Once you arrive, once you're there, there's no clear way out. Every theory points to one thing: the backrooms are a dimensional overflow, a storage space for lost things. Places, people, even time itself. And if you ever find yourself there, remember, you're not supposed to be there. The best way to survive the backrooms is avoid entering them in the first place. While no one enters intentionally, understanding how it happens may help you reduce the risk. Stay away from areas that appear unstable or glitching, such as walls with stretched or distorted textures, or surfaces that don't interact with light like the rest of the surroundings. These usually appear slightly darker or out of sync with reality. Avoid pressing yourself against solid surfaces like corners, walls, or floors, as physical proximity can sometimes trigger a slip through dimensions. Most importantly, if you notice any object flickering, twitching, or partially phasing into solid matter, do not touch it. These distortions are often weak points in reality itself, and crossing them might take you somewhere you'll never return from. If you made it this far, it's safe to assume you've already crossed the point of no return. Once you've fallen into the backrooms, your primary goal is not escape, it's survival. Rumors circulate about possible exits, but they all come with unimaginable risks. Most supposed escape routes require traversing deeper levels, each one far deadlier than the last. Unless you're willing to gamble your sanity and your life, it simply isn't worth it. Many who try never return, as each level is home to entities, some hostile, others far worse. Your journey begins in level 0, often called the lobby. It's the first and most recognizable layer of the backrooms, an endless maze of yellow-tinted rooms, buzzing fluorescent lights, and damp, moldy carpet. It's classified as threat level 1, meaning it's relatively safe and devoid of known entities. However, the true danger here isn't what you see, it's what happens to your mind. Level 0 is non-Euclidean, constantly shifting and rearranging itself. Compasses fail, hallways loop endlessly, and time feels inconsistent. Finding another person here is nearly impossible, and resources like food and water are scarce. The longer you stay, the more reality begins to unravel. Your memories blur, your thoughts distort, and eventually you forget who you are. Your first and only objective is simple: find an exit, do not linger. But this is far easier said than done. There are countless ways to transition between levels within the backrooms, though none are consistent or guaranteed. For instance, wandering deep enough through level 0 can eventually lead you into level 1, or in rare cases, you may be able to no-clip phasing through the environment, much like how you entered the first place. However, these methods are extremely unreliable and often come with immense risk. Traversing between levels isn't a simple act. It requires long, disorienting travel through shifting corridors and unstable environments. While some levels are rumored to be hospitable, offering supplies, light, or even safe zones, many others are outright death sentences, filled with hostile entities, environmental hazards, or psychological traps designed to wear you down. Because of this, we won't be guiding you toward any specific level. Instead, we'll focus on teaching you what to look for, the environmental cues, atmospheric changes, and auditory signs that may indicate whether a level is safe enough to take refuge in. When you find a space that feels even remotely habitable, take shelter. Rest while you can. In the backrooms, safety is never permanent, it's only borrowed. Finding a home within the backrooms is difficult, but not impossible. Many levels contain remnants of civilization, scattered outposts, makeshift shelters, and even thriving human settlements. Some of these groups are hostile, driven by paranoia, scarcity, or madness, but many are friendly, formed by survivors banding together to endure the endless maze. A reliable sign that a level may be safe to inhabit is the presence of multiple settlements. Communities tend to form in locations with sustainable resources, accessible water, edible food sources, stable power, and minimal entity activity. If you discover such a place, take that opportunity immediately. Even a small group dramatically increases your odds of survival. Numbers mean protection, from both creatures and the psychological effects of isolation. However, safety is never guaranteed. Levels that appear grim, dark, or unnaturally quiet are often teeming with hidden dangers. Extreme darkness, heavy fog, or disoriented geometry usually indicate a high entity presence. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Avoid deep shadows, long corridors, and empty areas that seem too still. Resources in the backrooms are rare and unpredictable. The environment itself doesn't cater to human survival, it tests it. Food and water are scarce. What little sustenance exists often comes with its own set of risks. The most vital resource you'll encounter, and perhaps the best hope for survival, is almond water. Almond water manifests across numerous levels and is commonly found in sealed bottles. It comes in 3 known variants: blue, green, and red, each with unique effects. Blue almond water is the most common and safest. It soothes the mind, easing symptoms of insanity, and strengthens the body by improving muscle tone, stamina, and immunity. Green almond water shares many of these traits, but contains high doses of caffeine and calcium. It can boost alertness and energy, useful during prolonged travel or when exhaustion sets in. Red almond water is the rarest of all, with only 5 bottles ever documented. It enhances blood circulation and dramatically accelerates wound healing, making it invaluable in critical situations. If you're lucky enough to find almond water, store it in a cold, dark place to slow its decay. Never drink expired almond water. It becomes dangerously toxic and has been known to kill within hours. Another resource highly prized by survivals is royal rations, a mysterious preserved food believed to never spoil. A single serving provides the same nourishment as 3 full meals, and is said to be the most palatable thing you'll ever taste in the backrooms. These are extremely rare, often traded as high-value currency between settlements. You may also come across moth jelly, a violet, honey-like substance produced by death moths to feed their larvae and sustain their hives. Moth jelly is rich in calories and nutrients, but acquiring it is dangerous. The death moths are highly territorial and will attack in swarms to defend their hives. If you attempt to harvest moth jelly, do so cautiously, and always prepare an escape route. Not every resource is a blessing. However, one of the deadliest deceptions in the backrooms is cashew water, a liquid that closely resembles almond water. Many have made the fatal mistake of drinking it, only to be driven into madness moments later. Victims often transform into wretches, distorted humanoid husks stripped of humanity. This fate is far worse than death. When scavenging for sustenance, never consume anything unfamiliar. Stick to known safe substances and always examine your surroundings for context. The backrooms are notorious for mimicking safety. What looks pure, clean, or inviting rarely ever is. Sanity is your most fragile resource within the backrooms. The environment itself, the flickering lights, the endless hum, and the uncanny geometry slowly wears away at your mind. Prolonged exposure to unstable levels or contact with certain entities accelerate this process, eroding your grip on reality faster than you can imagine. To preserve your sanity, always keep a supply of almond water. It is one of the few substances proven to restore mental stability and counteract the effects of exposure-induced psychosis. When you feel your mind slipping, take small doses at regular intervals. Perform frequent sanity checks, such as grounding yourself through affirmations. Whisper your name, recall where you came from, and tell yourself that you are still human. It may sound simple, but such rituals help tether your consciousness. If your sanity deteriorates too far, your body will begin the horrific process known as the wretched cycle, caused by the neurological infection Roth syndrome. Those afflicted are gradually transformed into wretches, grotesque zombie-like beings that feast on flesh, often beginning with their own. The transformation occurs in stages, each more terrifying than the last. Stage 1, prodromal. The earliest stage is subtle and often overlooked. Symptoms include paranoia, insomnia, mild headaches, and short-term memory loss. Victims may dismiss these as fatigue or stress, but make no mistake. This is the first whisper of the wretched cycle. Early intervention with rest, meditation, and almond water can sometimes halt progression. Stage 2, symptomatic onset. The signs become undeniable. Hallucinations, visual and auditory, begin to intrude your perception. Brain fog sets in, accompanied by disassociation and forgetfulness. Victims often report seeing figures that aren't there, or hearing distant voices calling their name. Cognition declines rapidly, and from here, recovery becomes increasingly difficult. Stage 3, severe psychological decline. By now, reality no longer holds. The afflicted experience delusions, violent mood swings, and self-inflicted injuries due to overwhelming nerve irritation. The itching beneath their skin is unbearable, leading to self-mutilation and infection. At this point, survivors are usually exiled from settlements, deemed too dangerous and unpredictable to remain among others. Stage 4, acute neurological period. Humanity is lost. The victim becomes a wretch, a twisted, animalistic creature driven by primal hunger and ceaseless agony. They wander aimlessly, attacking anything that moves. Their mind is gone, replaced with fragmented memories and instinct. Some retain just enough cognition to weep or speak in broken whispers, but what remains is no longer human. Stage 5, medium mortis. The final stage of the cycle. Even after biological death, brain activity continues, trapped in an endless loop of pain and awareness. Experiments have shown that even destroyed or fragmented wretch tissue continues to emit faint neural signals, suggesting that consciousness and suffering endures beyond death, a half-death, the ultimate curse of the backrooms. Prevention is everything. Never linger too long in unstable levels, avoid exposure to entities known to manipulate the mind, and stay hydrated with verified almond water. The backrooms do not just consume your body, they devour your sanity, and once it's gone, there is no coming back. Survival in the backrooms begins with mindset. Assume nothing is safe until proven otherwise. Keep your lights low but stable. Avoid sudden noises and conserve your energy. Panic burns calories and attention faster than anything the maze throws at you. Always mark where you've been. Tape, chalk, stack debris so you don't walk in circles. If you must rest, pick a spot that offers a clear view of at least 2 escape routes and a barrier between you and the corridor. Maintain strict routines of reality checks and short, wakeful bouts. Don't sleep in unfamiliar rooms, and rotate small, simple rituals. Reading a name, saying a date, to anchor memory and fight the slow entropy of the levels. Finding and joining a settlement. A settlement is the difference between life and death. When you find human structures, approach slowly and visibly. Don't burst in, announce yourself twice, leave a visible mark at the perimeter, and give locals time to assess you. Trade usefulness, not stories, such as carrying water, help guard shifts, help build, and scout local routes. Observe settlement rules immediately. These communities survive by routine and trust, not by invulnerability. If you're offered shelter, accept short term. Learn the layout and keep your own escape plan. Remember, settlements are refuges, not guarantees. Supplies run out and safe zones move. Never wander alone. Groups multiply your chances of surviving an encounter. 2 people can watch each other's backs, some can rest while others still keeping watch, and a squad can create a noise/vision perimeter that deters some monsters. Move in pairs or small teams, assign roles, navigator, rear guard, supply carrier. and use quiet hand signals or low light markers for communication. Don't bunch up in a single doorway, and don't split farther than voice range. If someone panics, stop the group. A single runaway step can cascade into a hunted target. Finally, adopt a no one left behind rule. Abandoning an injured teammate costs morale and often invites greater threats. Weapons and improvised tools. Fighting monsters is a last resort. Your priority is deterrence and escape. Weapons are tools to buy time, not to win fights. Good options are simple, durable items you can find or carry. For example, a pipe or crowbar for leverage and blocking, a fixed blade knife for utility, a long pole or broom handle to keep distance, and a heavy flashlight that doubles as a striking tool and a light source. Ropes and duct tape are invaluable for securing doors, making trip lines, or improvised stretchers. Think utility. Train to use weapons to create openings and break contact. Jam a limb, smash a light, pry a door, then run. Never rely on weapons to make a dangerous area safe. Your goal is avoidance, not confrontation. While beggars can't be choosers in the backrooms, joining the right settlement can mean the difference between survival and disappearance. A good settlement provides structure, protection, and a sense of purpose, but not all groups share the same values or goals. If possible, align yourself with one whose methods and ideals match your own. Below are some of the most well-known organizations currently operating within the backrooms. Another Dimension Foundation, aka ADF. The ADF is a highly advanced organization specializing in the containment, analysis, and weaponization of anomalies. Their main facility, located in level 8.1, is a technological marvel, a mix of research lab, fortress, and hub of scientific advancement. Unlike other groups that seek to destroy or suppress entities, the ADF believes in coexistence and study, viewing anomalies as sources of untapped knowledge. The group is overseen by Okavalis, a sentient intelligence linked to their facility systems, ensuring strict hierarchy and efficiency. The ADF maintains delicate alliances with factions like the MEG and AEG, earning a reputation as one of the most organized and ideologically unique forces in the backrooms. Architect Industries, simply known as the Architects. This group is responsible for maintaining and developing the industrial infrastructure of the backrooms. They terraform and restore abandoned sectors, manage production, and even build new zones for habitation. Many human settlements owe their existence to the architects' work. Joining them means safety through structure, though their goals often prioritize expansion over individual safety. Black Flags. Once infamous as a luxury flag-making company in the front rooms, Black Flags now function as a sprawling digital monopoly, acting as a stock exchange, gambling ring, and black market vendor rolled into one. They use their currency, bag cash, to control trade. Rampant corruption within the Backrooms Industrial Federation shields them from prosecution. While profitable, joining or dealing with the Black Flags is a gamble. You may walk away wealthy, or you may disappear after one bad transaction. Groups like the Database have publicly condemned their practices, despite the financial temptation to partner with them. Major Explorer Group, also known as MEG. Founded in 1885 and solidified in 1900, the MEG is the most established and recognized governing body in the backrooms. Acting as explorers, cartographers, and peacekeepers, their mission is to aid wanderers and restore order amidst chaos. They maintain the Database, the most comprehensive record of backroom levels and entities known to exist. While they hold no real enforcement power, their guidance saves countless lives. If you come across MEG, you've likely found safety, or at least people willing to help. Finding the right group isn't just about survival, it's about purpose. Each faction has its own doctrine, structure, and way of navigating the madness. Take time to observe, listen, and assess before pledging loyalty. The wrong group can be as dangerous as any entity, but the right one might just keep you alive long enough to find meaning in the endless yellow halls. The backrooms are a labyrinth of endless levels and even more entities, far too many to cover in one sitting. Below are some of the most frequently encountered beings. Learning how they behave will help you understand not just them, but the general rules of survival against any entity you may face. Smilers. Smilers are amongst the most infamous predators in the backrooms. They manifest as eerie, floating grins suspended in the dark, teeth glowing white with eyes that pierce through the shadows. These entities are spectral in nature, capable of slipping through solid matter, and completely immune to physical harm. Smilers thrive in low-light conditions, lurking where illumination fades. Once you lock eyes with that grin, every move you make will decide your fate. Their one vulnerability is light and fire. A strong flashlight, flare, or torch can cause visible pain, forcing them to retreat, but not every Smiler reacts the same way. Some seem almost resistant to light, pressing forward despite the pain. If you have nothing that emits light or heat, your only hope is to retreat quietly and avoid drawing attention. Remember, once a Smiler has noticed you, the best defense is to stay in the light. Death moths. Massive gray furred moth-like creatures with a wingspan reaching up to 1.5 meters. Death moths favor dark, humid spaces and are drawn to shadows rather than light. Their jagged wings are lined with coarse, hardened hairs, and their small heads bear black, multi-faced eyes, and needle-like mouth parts that can puncture flesh effortlessly. Death moths are most dangerous in swarms. They are capable of draining blood or fluids from their victims within seconds. Some produce moth jelly, a rare and highly nutritious substance used by survivors, but harvesting it is suicidal without proper protection. The safest policy when encountering a death moth is to avoid all movement and extinguish light sources temporarily. They are drawn to warmth and motion. Clumps. Clumps are masses of human limbs fused together, writhing, gasping, and endlessly twitching. They infest confined spaces such as vents, drains, cabinets, and pipes. Most encounters begin with a single arm dangling from a vent, motionless, baiting the curious. Approach, and the rest of the body erupts forward, dragging its prey into whatever cavity it calls home. Clumps are remarkably intelligent hunters, often setting ambushes in choke points or narrow corridors. Never investigate stray limbs or dark openings. If you see a hand where it shouldn't be, back away slowly. Sound attracts them, so avoid running or screaming. Predatory doors. Predatory doors are mimic entities disguising themselves as ordinary exit doors. While not as common as Smilers or Clumps, they're equally lethal. Found mostly in building-like levels, these creatures use deception to lure wanderers closer. Once within reach, the door opens to reveal a mass of tentacles that ensnare and crush anything that approaches. They navigate by sound and vibration rather than sight, and their hearing is incredibly sharp. Even a single footstep can betray your presence. If you find a door in an unfamiliar area, pause before opening it. Test the handle slightly. Listen for movement behind it, and look for signs of distortion, such as breathing, rippling surfaces, or temperature drops. If you detect any, retreat immediately. Hounds. Hounds resemble feral canines with disturbingly human traits. Raw, patchy skin, hollow eyes, and erratic movements. Despite their bestial appearance, they share partial human DNA, suggesting they may have been human once themselves. They inhabit abandoned, damp regions of the backrooms and attack almost anything that moves. They tire quickly after bursts of aggression, so endurance and patience can sometimes save your life. Their intelligence allows them to remember paths and even recognize faces, meaning once one has seen you, it may stalk you for days. Do not make eye contact, move slowly, and if cornered, create loud noises or light flashes to startle them long enough to escape. Skin stealers. These humanoid horrors wear the flayed skins of their victims as disguises. When not hungry, they wander aimlessly, almost docile. But once starvation sets in, they become aggressive hunters. Their translucent blood and ability to mimic human speech make them incredibly deceptive. Skin stealers are most often encountered on levels 1 to 3, though sightings exist deeper within the backrooms. If you hear someone calling for help and their voice sounds off, do not answer. When docile, avoid them entirely. When hungry, there is no reasoning with them. The best strategy is avoidance. Back away quietly, do not run, and never assume a human figure is what it appears to be. These entities represent only a small fraction of the horrors that roam the backrooms. But understanding their behavior, light sensitivity, sound attraction, hunger, and mimicry gives you the framework for survival. The backrooms are not just a place, they're a trap built on confusion, repetition, and fear. The walls hum, the lights flicker, and the air carries the weight of something watching, something waiting. Survival isn't about strength here, it's about patience, awareness, and knowing when to move and when to not. If you find yourself here, remember everything you've learned. Trust the light, stay grounded, avoid isolation, and never take what you see at face value. Not every door leads forward. Not every voice wants to help you. Most who wander the backrooms fade quietly into its endless halls, forgotten by the world they once knew. But maybe, just maybe, if you keep your mind sharp, your will unbroken, you'll be one of the few who live long enough to understand what this place really is. This has been the Backroom Survival Guide, and if you're hearing this, you've already made it further than most. If you would like me to cover other Backrooms content such as most dangerous backroom levels or entities, let me know in the comments. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoy horror content such as this. And until next time, friends.